What's going on, guys? JT here and welcome back to the channel. Today is one of the biggest days in Disney Parks history as they hosted previews for the brand new show coming to Disneyland, Walt Disney A Magical Life, which features the first ever Walt Disney animatronic. This show is going to be narrated by Disney CEO Bob Iger, and the attraction is going to officially open on July 17th at Disneyland. This animatronic by Walt Disney Imagineering is the first ever animatronic to do a couple of things that Drew the Disney Dude shared on X. It achieves a twinkle in the eye, the first lean to stand motion for an all-electric figure, realistic skin through new methods, and Walt's mannerisms and movements as well.
You know, I was stumped one day when the little boy asked, "Do you draw Mickey Mouse?" And I had to admit I do not draw anymore. Well, then you think of all the jokes and ideas. No, I said, I don't do that. Finally, he looked at me and said, "Mr. Disney, just what do you do?" Well, I said, sometimes I think of myself as a little bee. I go from one area of the studio to another and gather pollen and sort of stimulate everybody.
This is a massive milestone for Walt Disney Imagineering as they have officially brought him back to life in the form of an animatronic, something he was so vital in starting many years ago. So far, the social media reactions have been very difficult to gauge. A lot of people saying they missed the mark and it just isn't Walt Disney, while others are really enjoying this new animatronic. Overall, in my opinion, this was always going to be such a difficult task, and why I was so surprised they were going to take this venture and making this happen. It is so incredibly difficult to make anything exactly like a human being. Their facial recognition, especially of Walt, is so huge. Everyone knows that face around the world, so getting it perfect was going to be very difficult. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid image of him. I do think the face is maybe a little chubbier than what it is when you compare older photos of him. But overall, I think they still did a pretty solid job. But I also think they absolutely nailed the mannerisms of Walt. It really does feel like his stature there. I love the whole lean to standing up. That just really blew my mind, seeing that action in place in these videos. And overall, we knew this was going to be a very debated topic. There was a lot of people off rip when they announced this that were completely out on this project, did not want it to happen, did not think that they would do a good enough job with it, and there was a lot of people very excited to bring Walt back to life in this form that he was such a huge part of creating in an animatronic and telling his story using a lot of the voice captures we've gathered over the years. Overall, I think for the normal park goer, they're going to think that this is incredible and looks absolutely amazing. Now, some of the more Disney diehard fans may have wanted a more lifelike figure to what he looked like, and this still isn't open quite yet, so there is still time for them to change things. But like I said, I heard it's a lot better in person than maybe some of these videos were able to capture, and I still think it looks phenomenal in some angles versus kind of those side angles where you can see it kind of a little wider than what his face is like in real life. But overall, I still think they did a very good job with this animatronic, and I'm sure it is mind-blowing in person during this show, kind of watching it all play out. But in the comment section below, guys, let me know your thoughts on the first ever Walt Disney animatronic coming to Disneyland, and make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.